Hey, how's it going, y'all? Eric and...
Me.
What's your name, bud?
Philip.
Our functional farmhouse. We're here. Today, we're going to be trimming up some tenderloin and getting some lobster tails packaged for freezer storage and sous vide cooking. So, we were able to go... We've got Costco here. We were able to get this prime tenderloin. It is $32.99 a pound. It's about 170 bucks. It is kind of spendy, but not blade tenderized. And then we've got this gorgeous, almost 4 pounds of lobster tail package. This is at 101. There's 7 tails. So what does that break down to? That is $14.42 a tail, and these things are meaty. And I'm going to show you guys how I like to trim the shell up prior to packaging in my food saver bags. I like to freeze these. I like to freeze them. I also like to have them packaged for my sous vide, which I actually need to plug in. For my sous vide, I actually need to plug it in and get us turned on because I'm going to prepare. We're going to set that up at 122. So we're going to show you how I like to trim this. I'm going to show you how I like to package these. And I'm going to hand the camera off to Philip so he can film me doing the thing. But do you think you got it?
Yep.
So first things first is we are going to open up. I think I have about 5 or 6 pairs of shears in the kitchen. These are really sharp. I like these in the block, but if I'm just going to do something quick and dirty and get some raw meat, I like to use just a regular pair because I don't need anything particularly savvy here. So we've got that. We are going to get us out this nice looking prime beef loin. We're going to stick that in. And you can see this has been trimmed up really well. They've got what's kind of known as the head, the tail, and you can see that the way the meat delineates, you do different things with different parts of this. So what I like to do is I like to cut this tail off right here at the very end. And I can section that off. We can make some steak tartare or dice it up for different things. And then what I can do is I can make my steaks through here. And depending on what you want, so if you were going to do a beef Wellington, you'd probably trim about here, have that, or was the Champignon. Can't remember that off the tip of my head, but what I'm gonna do on this guy is I'm gonna trim part of this off here along this muscle line. And then I have got the tenderloin. So I'm gonna break this up into steaks. And I'm gonna take this off for medallions. And you guys, you can trim this up however you guys want. This one, I've done these a little differently, but I want to make steaks, so I'm going to go about 2 inches here. And then measure off. Of these, and that's just a nice thick piece of filet mignon. So we've got 7 of those, and then I have a couple of different chunks. This I can slice up for medallions. Let me take these ends off here. I've got 5 of those. We got a little piece. We're gonna give this to the dog. There you go, dude. We're gonna move these guys back. Move these over here. And then, let's see. I think I'm just gonna leave these chunks whole for now. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 7 steaks. So that's 3.5 meals for us. And then I think I'm gonna cut this in half and make that 2 packages of those. So that's gonna be 1, that's gonna be 1. And then I'm just gonna lump this up into 1 package. And then we will see where we go from there. So broken down, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5, 6, 7 meals. So that 7 meals breaks down to $24 a meal, or $12 a head for prime filet. So, you know, everyone's pretty cognizant. $12 a head for prime filet at home. I'm on board with that one. So I'm gonna get these bagged up, and then we'll show you that on the other side, and then we're gonna get to these lobster tails.
Super.
How about do it back here, bud? So you gotta hold the camera, and you gotta do it all good. There you go. How many packages do we have, buddy?
Super. 1,
I didn't ask about
2,
super.
3, 4, 5, 6.
6 plus number 7 down here. So, all right, bud, let me just leave them there for a minute. So we've got a couple of full steaks. We've got a single, and we've got a couple different pieces. Now, again, you guys can do what you want. Not every time are you going to be cooking full fillets the whole time with the prime. I've found that sometimes you only need 1, and each piece of meat is a little different. Sometimes you can stretch it here or there, and there we are on that front. So I'm going to see you guys on the lobster shells on this other side. There's the trick I like to do to trim them up so I can vacuum seal them for the sous vide and the freezer. All right, y'all, so we are back on the other side. I have taken the butcher paper. This is the side we just cut. I just refolded that over. I like 2 layers. And even though I have this really, really gorgeous and large butcher block counter, I like to keep it sanitary. So this butcher paper goes a long way for me, and I will use a sanitizing wipe on this regardless. I just don't like doing super juicy raw stuff on the cutting board because we use this for all sorts of things. You can do what you want. That's what we do. So I'm gonna crack these open here, and I'll show you how I like to trim the shell, and then how I like to load the bags to keep them from popping. So you get a good vacuum seal. That way you can keep them in the freezer. And this stuff freezes very well in my experience, as long as it doesn't get freezer burn. And yeah, all right, stand by. All right, y'all, we're gonna get these lobster tails open and get them trimmed up and then packaged. That way we can have these little bad doggies in the freezer for us. I'm just gonna get these out. That way I can trim the shells off into this and catch all of those pieces. Look at how meaty these things are. These are gorgeous. Now these things are really sharp. If you try to vacuum bag these things, you're gonna get 10, 20 holes, or well, 4, 5, 6, 7, you're gonna get up to 14 holes if you try doing that. So what I like to do is I like to come in underneath here and try to trim as much of this tough, spiny part of the shell off. And I'm going to use my crummy shears on this. It pops it, buddy. That's the thing. So now, those are a lot duller. And I'm just going to come over here and trim off as much of this as I can. Oh,
Whoa.
it is a little messy.
It flew over to me.
Yep, and you're gonna have to wash your hand after that. But this is significantly less sharp. What are you filming? You gotta, watch this. This is significantly less sharp. So what I'm gonna do now is I like to vacuum seal these things back to back. So I'm gonna show y'all how. We're gonna put one in vertically, and I'm gonna trim a second one up here, and I'm gonna stack it so these are opposed, and all the sharp parts, which are now duller, are facing each other. Boom. Now, we've got the bag open. I'm gonna gently and try to get this positioned in here so these are like this. That way, when I go to seal it, there's as few sharp parts as possible.
Recording.
So this is a little tricky because we're going to get this fed in here. We're going to get them like that, and we're not going to do the full vacuum. I'm just doing a soft vacuum because you can see the bag is starting to compress around these spines. And that is perfectly sealed. There's very little air. This is going to prevent freezer burn, and it's also going to allow us to go right from the freezer into the water bath. So we're going to pack it. So these are packed up. These are 2 servings per, and we've got 3 of them, and we've got number 7 in the fridge. I'm going to go ahead and label all these up. Hey, bud, let's bring these over here so we can show everyone how that broke down. So we've got our packaged prime filet. We've got our previously frozen 6 lobster tails. We've got number 7 in the fridge for dinner. And yeah, these are going to go in the freezer so we can enjoy these in the future without having to run to the market. We'll have surf and turf on deck. So just something we like to do here on the homestead. It's nice to have things in reserve. And when you break it down at a cost per meal and serving, it becomes fairly affordable, and I'll put that in the description and probably trickle it out through the video on those per meal, per serving, just so you can see versus going out. I don't know where you live. Eating out in San Diego is exceptionally expensive, and we like to eat well, and we like to know where our food's coming from. So handling it, we can tell if it's good or not. We can see the quality, and we know what we're getting, and that's an added bonus. Hope this makes sense. Hope this is something you can help put in your food program, and if you like this, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see everyone on the next one. See y'all.